Hey there everyone, it's Val, and welcome back to the end of the day tour for Tolkiencraft II, The Labors of Valentine. We had a small incident when we updated the server. Despite original calculations saying that my base was perfectly safe, apparently it wasn't. There is a new piece of content for the mod pack itself that was a little bit too close to my base, and I logged in to find that I was in the middle of a hill and my base was gone. Fortunately, Great Orator was able to recover it from backup. The unfortunate thing is because we had just moved in, I don't know, the last month to a new host, the automatic backup was not working properly, so while my base was restored, it was not restored to the point at which I had left it. So I had to redo about 14 hours work, which meant that the last 14 hours of work on my base that is in my past live streams, it all happened in an alternate reality. I had to redo it, and I did all that off stream. I did it in creative because I had lost that work through no fault of my own, and Great Orator said, go ahead and use creative, so I did. So I will show you, because I couldn't replicate what I'd done exactly without having a reference base to go and look at. I did my best, and I did make some additional changes or tweaks. You know how you do when you do something the second time around. You always make little adjustments and usually end up happier with the result. And even though I didn't plan to do it again, the fact that I had to means that, yeah, I'm actually a little happier with my second time around. Like I said, I will show you that after I show you what I did today. Ta-da! Yes, we are done with this ship. In fact, I'll clean up all my stuff here later. We intended to do this in stream, but once Great Orator had test placed it, because he had to rotate it 90 degrees, he wasn't able to pick it up again with a schematic. We're not sure why, so that's why it's not quite precisely where I would have chosen to put it, but it's pretty close. As you can see, the dock doesn't look quite like the dock that you saw me do in stream. It's a little wider. The posts are in different places. That's because this is dock version 2. So what this was originally a copy of the pirate ship from Draconis, except I changed everything about it. It's all local woods that the wood elves would have access to. So we've got chestnut, we've got fir, the majority of the wood is murk oak, and as you can see, I did my very best to replicate, let's put one down so you can see it for a comparison, very best to replicate the tree that's on the flag, but over here. And if you're wondering, you know, in bigger form, if you're wondering how I did this, I used the canvas from Openblocks along with the paintbrush, the paint cans, and stencils. And I will, at the end of the end of the day tour here, I will do a quick demonstration of the various parts of the stencils and painting process. But as you can see, you can put multiple layers down, and that is how I ended up with this 3D overlaid effect, which is, well, I guess it's not really 3D, but it's overlaid. Unfortunately, you are restricted with the kind of stencils you have available. And let me just go like this. So those are what I had to work with. And as you can see, I made extensive use of this one, and that one. And a little bit of use of that one in doing this design. But I think the end result came out very nicely, and one of my viewers actually suggested the Openblocks paints, the stencils and the canvas, because my original version was with just wool, and it was very blocky and it didn't look anything as nice as this. So thank you very much, Trinity. I really appreciate that. Bob Ross of Minecraft. Yeah, I guess so. Although Bob Ross is a little more skilled than I am, I would say. Just a little bit. But as you can see, I left the majority of the sail as still being wool, because I like that for the majority of it. So, I did make a few adjustments to how it looks in terms of some of the blocks. I don't remember what the original desk was because I'd have to go look in Draconis, but it had vanished entirely, so I've changed it to Bibliocraft Dark Oak. And of course Dark Oak here. Downstairs, this I raised up a half a block because you couldn't actually walk in the original ship to the back of the hold, which didn't make sense to me, so I did make that adjustment so you can actually come in here and walk to the back and get to these chests quite easily. I mean, you could reach to get them, but that's a little awkward, and I would think that if you were working down here, you would want to actually be standing here to get to it, and you couldn't do that at all. Right. And that took me all stream. In fact, what took me 4 hours of the stream was the sail, because of the painting of the canvas, and making my beautiful tree, which is supposed to look like that one, as much as possible. Alright, so let's take this down. Thank you. And now I will show you the stuff that I redid. Just showing you the boot from a few different angles there. Alright, so this is decoration version 2. It looks startlingly like a belt, like a chain belt, which wasn't my original intention, but I still think it looks pretty cool. So this is a new design element, the wavy lines, but I still kept some of the patterns that I had been using before. I didn't intend this to look like a belt, but it just came out that way, and I didn't see any reason to change it. I also had to redo the moat and widen it over here, so this looks a little different when it's coming down. We didn't have this before, and again I made use of the wavy lines here instead of the dotted lines like I had before. The other thing I found was that the glitches we were having with the carpenter's block and placing them underwater or with ice nearby, they still happen, but they fix themselves a lot easier. You still have to break blocks to fix them, but it also seemed to me at times they would fix themselves if I basically flew out of the chunk. And I'm just doing my usual bobbing up down to the water. Fine. Fix your wagon. So they fix themselves a lot easier, so they're still happening, but they're not quite as annoying because they don't stick around forever if you can't figure out how to place blocks to get rid of them. Alright, so over here I had to redo obviously all of this. So these are a little tidier. I think they were scattered at a little more with awkward angles. I think I had like one here, for example, instead of the 3 down here. What I did is I did change the levels at which some of these slanted carpenter's blocks occurred at, so that I could put them clumped together the way that I have them now. And I like that better than the other way. Another new element version 2 has that version 1 did not is we have this little section here where the elves can go down a set of stairs, and, you know, just got a few stairs there. Now, I don't have any stairs for them to get down to that part, and I don't know if I'll do that, but I'll think about it. But the reason that I have this section here is right down here is the start of the work area that is lined in brick to prevent orcs from digging into it, at least not easily. Because it seemed to me that it was if I was going to make it, as I said in my end of the day tour when I showed this, if I did make the area accessible for elves to do work in, then it couldn't be made out of dirt, because that would be like a huge security flaw when they could just go underneath the moat by digging, you know, a few yards of dirt. So, and then find themselves right in the middle of the castle and Bob's your uncle. Yeah, so I lined it with brick, and because I did that, that meant that I had to do something here to hide it better, because it would be a little obvious if you saw a section of brick sticking out of the ground here. So that's how this bit ended up. And that's why I have to think about whether I'm actually going to add stairs going up to the top of the hill. I probably should, because, well, now we've got that there. It would look not quite right if I didn't. The spout as well, version 2, has moved over a little. If I recall correctly, it was right here, and now it's over here. And I did that because moving it there made the hall look even, and actually be a little easier to navigate if you're dashing around. Okay. Right, so, whoops, we're still flying. So, the other thing that I had to redo, of course, was the grain mill room. So it ended up a little bit bigger. The actual mill itself looks identical. But because the room was a little bigger, I ended up making a nice little climbing or ladder chute. And of course, since this was bigger, I actually put in a divider between the storage room and the actual where you dump it into the hopper room. Mill room? I don't know. The whole thing's called the mill room, so. I'm sure somebody who worked in here would have a special name for that area so they could talk to their cohorts about it. I did decide to make this a hidden carpenter's door, and as you can see, it is all... It's got a little bit of lighting, and actually let me show you the atmospheric lighting. There we go, because should be dimly lit. They don't come in here very often. But it's all lined with brick, and it's all designed so that it's accessible to the elves for them to work on it when things break down, as machines tend to do. And right up here, that's the very top. That's where that stairwell is up at the top that I had to put in to hide the brick. And as you can see, there's different levels for them to get off at to work with the various shafts and whatnot. And then you come over here, and there's a couple more there, and come here, and you can access the last 3 of them. Go down. So, oops, up we go. So that's all official looking now, which is more than I had done before. So I did finish that up off camera. Now, let's see, is there anything else I wanted to talk about? If you haven't if you are playing Tolkiencraft II and you have not updated to 2.9.2, pardon me, then I highly recommend you do so, because there is 2 fairly major bugs in 2 of the mods that have been fixed, and the mod devs were very responsive and fixed it right away. One of them had to do with draconic energy and the wireless energy transfer, advanced energy transceivers, not a transfuser. It's not for blood. Although, when you think about it, RF really is the blood of a machine. Anyway. Or would that be glucose? Sugar. Yeah, okay. Anyway. Point is, if you tried to connect this to any machine, you would crash the server. And the other problem was with extra cells, and that had to do with the wireless, again wireless, terminal. So both were wireless problems. And it would crash the server when you tried to link up a wireless terminal. But as I said, those bugs are fixed with the latest versions of the mods. So if you have not updated Tolkiencraft 2 to 2.9.2, I highly recommend you do so, because if you're running 2.9.1, you will have crashes if you use either of those wireless features. Right, so I was going to show you... Oh, wait a minute, I almost forgot one other thing. We have one more thing to do, and then... let's get my lighting back on here. We have to go hire a ship's captain. And we have to do that here. Let's see if we can find... Nope, not here. Possibly inside. Ooh. Is he down here? No, he's not, but... Oh! The heck? Look at all these places. I've never actually... Oh, for Pete's sake. Let me down. Oh! Okay, well I didn't know they had jail cells down here. Good to know. Okay, there you are. Hi! Well, oh, that's a shield. That's not a cloak. Need to find the guy with a cloak. Which is not you. They're wearing their shields on their backs, which is confusing me. Did you guys used to do that? I don't remember you doing that before. Alright, so where is he? Maybe he left. Because when my base was restored, we did unfortunately lose one of the two towers here because it was a little too far over. So we might not actually have a guy that I can hire anybody from anymore locally. Well, that's a shame. Let's go upstairs the fast way. See anybody there? No. See anybody there? You have a shield. And... Oh! I see him. He's got a cloak. We didn't lose him. Excellent. Hi! Yes, I would like to hire some staff, if you don't mind. Should we say ship's captain? No, let's just say captain. Or river fleet. No, let's call it river fleet. Wood elf scout? No. A warrior? Obviously not a cavalry or a banner bearer. I thought I could hire... I think we're gonna have to hire a regular wood elf for this. Alright. Oh, excellent. You're wearing green. I was actually hoping you would. So if you wouldn't mind coming with me over here, that would be fabulous. Right here would be wonderful. They do tend to teleport with you. Okay, so he... Oh, there you are. Oh, are you okay? Oh dear, you almost died. That's no good. Well, that's why there's a ladder. You're not supposed to just jump off. How about you come in here with me? You can come in here? Alright, let's see if I can pick you up. Because we kind of need you to be in a specific location. And you're in the water. That's great. Come here. Don't be drowning on me. No, I can't pick you up. That's great. Rasim. Okay. Come over here. Thank you. Now, come with me. Do not fall into the water. Excellent. Now, come with me in here. Through the door. No, don't... Do you not understand carpenter's doors? Is this the problem? Alright. If we can't get him in there, I will play with getting him there off camera. Let's get him out of the water. Come on. Don't need you drowning. Thank you. Let's at least get you on the boat. Come on. Onto the boat. Come here. Alright. Let's just set it to 1. Okay, now follow me in here. The door is gone. You should be able to make it in here now. Excellent. Okay. There. Now I will give you a slightly larger area. A whole 2 blocks. That should keep you safe and not have you in the water. Doesn't mean you'll be in the doorway, though. Maybe I can push you. Push you around. Up. Okay, nope. Dang it. He went back to where his guard was. Range wasn't. So if I did 3, I'm assuming that's a radius. 1, 2, 3. That should stop you from falling. 1, 2, 3. Maybe go over there. Okay, you should be safe. I guess we'll find out. Anyway, we've got a captain now. Woohoo! Welcome to your new job. Alrighty, now we're going to go and I'm just going to grab these while I'm here. Now I will demonstrate the Openblocks canvas. If I get out of here. Okay. So let's put some canvas on the wall. And we're going to put a piece of wool as a sample on the wall as well. And you will see why in just a moment. And let's empty out a little bit of room so I can actually see what I'm doing. Oh, I didn't put the door back. Okay, we'll have to go fix that after. That's why I needed the chestnut. Dang it. 1, 2. Okay. So I've got a chest here with a little bit of these in here, and I'm going to take these out and I'm going to put them in there. In general, I don't recommend having more than one in your inventory at a time, simply because they pop into your hand and out of your hand in a very annoying manner. I also would not recommend, just like the cans are doing, you see that? Yeah, the stencils do that too. Very annoying. Okay. Now, the black one is almost done, so I'm just going to demonstrate with the black one. Don't punch it. If you want to pick up a can, use a pick or something of that nature. If you punch it, it goes away. I'm assuming that's a bug because it's gone. No, it's gone. But if you pick it up with the incorrect tool, it's also gone. Okay. Well, I have a pick. It has silk touch on it. I'm going to assume that it's possible that the silk touch is the only thing stopping it from vanishing. But I do know for a fact a pick with a silk touch will pick up the can successfully. Thank God I didn't destroy both my cans that I was going to demonstrate with. Alright. Alright. Sorry. Throat. You're going to need 2 machines from Openblocks. One is called a drawing table. And let me just get you up the recipe. It's not that hard to make. You do need to make a sketching pencil, which is some charcoal and some sticks. Of course, crafting table. An unprepared stencil, which is paper around an iron ingot. And let me just make one of those so that I can demonstrate the making of a stencil. Would you quit? Rasim. Alright. So we have our example unprepared stencil. You just stick it in there. And as you can see, we got a creeper face already. And you just go through until you find the one that you want. So let me just find one that I haven't done yet. So we have a new one. Oh, but don't take it out like that. You have to actually hit draw. Although, as I said in stream, that should be cut. You cut stencils, you don't draw them. You draw a stencil and then cut it out. Alright, so I am actually going to have 2 of these in my hand because I want to demonstrate another feature. Okay, right now I have black paint on this brush. You can use it to paint wool, like so. So you can use it to change the wool color. You can see it's actually changed from white wool to black wool. So that is pretty cool. As a feature, I like that because while you do end up using, you know, the ink, I forgot to talk about the paint mixer. You do use the ink for it, but you use a lot less ink, I think, than you do. You can do a lot more with one piece of ink by doing this, color-wise, but it just takes you a little longer. Alright, so the other thing that you need to make is the paint mixer, which I had forgotten to show you. The paint mixer is made fairly simply with obsidian and iron ingots. And then you need to put in 4 dyes. And as you can see here, Botania dyes do work in the Tolkiencraft II mod pack, but you need magenta, cyan, dandelion yellow, and ink sacs. It's possible that it might work with black floral powder as well. I didn't try it, but the fact that this worked with floral powder indicates to me that it probably would work. So what you need to do is you need to get an empty bucket. Which I have several. And unfortunately I didn't have the forethought to grab some milk on the way by, but I will go ahead and do so as quickly as possible. Hi cows! Thank you. Alrighty. And we're back. So you take the pail of milk, put it in there, and then you select your color. So you can select from the palette here, which is the Minecraft colors. So let's just pick a color I haven't done before. How about purple? But let's say we decide, well, it's not, I don't really like it. I want it a little brighter, or I want it a little darker. So you can actually put it to any of the colors, which is amazing. That gives you a much wider palette of colors, and actually I would like to use that particular purple. That's a lot closer to the purple that I usually make, so let's just go ahead and mix that. It doesn't need power, it just takes a little while. As you can see that it's slowly progressing along here. And once it's done that, then I'm going to get my new bucket of purple paint. And I believe, yes, you can edit this, so you could cut and paste if you had a particular color that you knew the code for. You could just go ahead and put that in there. I think that's the hex value. Alright, so now we have our paint can. Now you want to make a paint brush. And that is pretty easy. This is the basic one. You just have a piece of wool and 2 sticks, and you have a paintbrush that lasts forever. What this little bar down here indicates, the durability 21 out of 24. It's not the durability of the paintbrush, it's the amount of paint you have left on the paintbrush. So when you run out of paint, your paintbrush doesn't disappear, it just turns back into the white paintbrush, and you have to load the paintbrush again with a fresh batch of paint. The same thing is true of the paint cans. If you recall, let me just pick this one up. You can see that it has a bar as well, and that again indicates how much paint there is in the can. When it runs out, you end up with an empty bucket again. So you can reuse it and fill it with milk. So the only way that it accidentally gets destroyed is if you punch it or you hit it with the wrong tool, then it just disappears on you. Like I said, that seems like a bug to me. At least I sure hope it is. The other thing that you need is a squeegee. Squee! And I love the sound it makes, by the way. And for that you need 3 sponges, 3 Openblocks sponges, which are made with a piece of wool and a slime ball or ball of glue, gelatinous slime, etc., etc. And those are pretty easy to make as long as you have access to both those materials. Right, so, isn't that great? I don't know why I love that sound, but I do. It's wonderful. Alright, so those are all the things that you need. Now, you right-click to place something on the canvas, or I could just paint, let's just paint this black to start with. So you can paint one panel with a right-click, or you can shift right-click and paint the whole thing. And you can shift right-click to squeegee the whole thing as well, or let's paint it all again. I can squeegee just one face of it, if that's what I'm so inclined to do. So let's just do that. And let's load our brush with purple. And I did that by just right-clicking on the paint can. And so we can just go ahead and paint it like that if we're so inclined. So let's grab some lime now. And now you right-click with a stencil to place it on. Unfortunately, you cannot put more than one stencil on a side, and I say that's unfortunate because it would be really cool if I could put that stencil down and then put this one on top of it, so only the center part of the pattern, as the cutout from this one shows. So can you imagine those two combined? That would give you a lot more functionality, but unfortunately you can't do that. At least if there's a way, neither me nor my chat was able to figure it out, and I did consult the wiki and so did they. So yeah. The other thing that I wish it would do that, again, couldn't find in the wiki, possible there's a way, but if there is, we couldn't find it. It would be really nice if you did something like control right click on this, that I could paint the part of the stencil that is white. So that I'd end up with a purple square in the middle with white around the outside, or with green around the outside. But that also is not possible, which is unfortunate. But, so to use the stencil, you just right click like that. Now, I'm just going to paint both of them. And let's go ahead and load it with purple. Okay, so I'm going to take this, get this off. So shift, right click to take off a stencil. I'm going to put that on the bottom. Now, as you can see, if I shift right click and take this one off, you can see that we've got leaves on there. Now, if you just right click, not shift right click, just a single right click, you can turn the pattern. And so you can turn it 4 times and you can end up with a more complex pattern. Or you could take it off and overlay another pattern entirely on it. And so we're just going to do that. We're just going to take, we're going to put that one over here. And where did the other one go? I put it on the other side, didn't I? Oh, I put it on the bottom. That's what I did. Like, give me that. I think I'll put it there instead. You can overlay them in any way you like, up to as many times as you like, at least until you run out of distinguishing things to do with it, which is really cool. And that's how I made the complicated nature of that tree on the canvas out there, and that's why it took me 4 hours to do it, because there was a lot of layers. Right, so what I'm trying to show you here is you shift right click with your paintbrush, you paint the whole thing, but because I had that on there and this on here, it also did the stencils. So if you know exactly the end result you want on a block that has multiple sides you want to paint, you can put on multiple stencils and do it all at once. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So even though it doesn't have all the features that, being the picky person that I am, would like to see, it does have a lot you can do with it. And I think that is awesome. Because, well, when you think you now have access to the entire palette of colors instead of just 16, That is a big improvement right there. At least I sure think so. So I hope you guys enjoyed this end of the day tour, and I hope you found it educational. I know I certainly learned a lot today about using Openblocks painting. I hope to see you in the stream sometime. Sorry, it's late at night, it's 11:30 at night, so my brain is starting to shut down. I've been streaming for 7.5 hours. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this end of the day tour. I think I already said that, but I'm gonna say it all again so I don't forget anything. I hope to see you all in the stream. You all take care now. Bye.